Hi team, welcome to our Friday sessions. And today we are going to cover the content marketing strategy for Drift. Drift, as you will surely know, that it's a chatbot for business communication. Have you ever used Drift, Nitesh?
I have never. I've used HubSpot chatbots, but never Drift.
Oh, you have not even heard of Drift?
I have, yes, definitely I've heard of it,
But
I've
not
never
used.
got a chance to use them. Yes, use the chatbot.
Okay. So, from the content marketing perspective, the marketing 101 is whenever you are searching in Google for that service, it should come in the results and on the first page preferably, है ना? So जैसे अगर ये it is a chatbot for a website. So I went on Google and I searched for chatbot on website. So on first page, none of their blogs or product pages was ranking, but there definitely was an ad. On second page also, there were no results from their website, blog, or product pages, but there was an ad. On the third page, one of their product pages was ranking. Now I was wondering, why is this? Why is it not coming on the first page when it is so popular in the businesses? And a lot of other chatbot websites were coming. Then I found out while digging in more. So this person is Dave Gerhardt. He's the VP of marketing at Drift. He's a genius. He's a marketing genius. So to answer the question that I asked before, I need to give a little background. Okay, why was that not coming? So they say the most underrated piece of marketing advice is that you have got to name something. आप क्या समझते हैं इससे when they say so?
You've got to name something. Name of the product.
Yeah, describing the product. Yeah. So it's not just the brand name, but the feeling, like that word which comes to your mind when that brand is spoken about. Or so they had coined a term. So when Drift was started years ago, it's not that the chatbots did not exist. The chatbots existed by AOL and various other companies. But they did something to stand out in that noise. And the marketing strategy that they call is coining a term. Can you guess what term they might have coined? So it is conversational marketing. So हुआ क्या था? So the chatbots were used like 2014, 13, 12. The chatbots were used, but those are mostly for the support functions. कि support team में जरूरत है इसमें this feature is not working, I'm facing this error, yet it is not getting integrated with my portal, yeah, this tool is not working, things like that. But it was not really used for business communication, that is sales and marketing channels. And so what they did, and this term did not really exist until 2015-16. This term did not exist. There's a story also how they reached this term, how they coined it, and how it actually became the pillar of their marketing. Let's dig deeper. Now, I told you when I searched for chatbot, I didn't really see Drift. But when I searched for conversational marketing guide, it was the second result on the first page, because that's what Drift intended to. They strategized themselves to be ranked for conversational marketing guide or conversational marketing software or any other term which is related to this conversational marketing. So I told you that when Drift was started, there were already many chatbots existing. Now, their VP of marketing says, you can either be the first or you can resegment the market and create a new category. तो अगर तो आप कोई market gap fill कर रहे हो, so you are the first and people would want to use your solution. But when there are many solutions existing, features are almost the same, but there is something different that you need to do to stand out in that sources. So they're saying that एक आपको कुछ नया ही एंगल देना पड़ेगा to win the game. So what happened was, as I told you, that sales and marketing was something that people were not using the chatbots was, and the power of buying was shifting from businesses to the buyers. So you would have also observed कि as the market grew, as the competitors grew, buyers got more power to choose what they really want. And it's not just the features that they buy a product for, because today creating a SaaS product is very easy. The way coding has been revolutionized, it's really easy to create a product. So you cannot win the game based on features. You need to win it on the base of branding or showing that you are different, and how you are different. You need to win the game on that. Now, their first Eureka moment was when they found out the gap that by then Facebook Messenger was getting popular, WhatsApp had started coming, people were getting used to these messaging apps. But this messaging, the written messaging or the internet messaging was not really used for the B2B communication or B2C communication on the websites. So they felt that people are forming a habit. They need to make use of that habit. And that's how. So one very interesting thing that the CEO of the company said, that instead of working on your ideas, first thing that you should do is see the market, see where the paradigm is shifting, and then you should align your product with it for more success. So then first thing was using it for sales and communication, and then they had a second Eureka moment. That was when a chatbot could filter out the noise. That is personalization your chatting experience with a business. You might have also observed that when you go to a website, they start chatting, they give you a few options, as in what is your purpose for communication with us, and then you answer their question. They direct you to maybe 2-3 other things, and so on. So I had a good experience chatting with the Dripbot. I was just testing how does a Dripbot work on their website. So the moment you go on their website, the chat box opens and asks if it can help you with some way. Now, instead of you typing what it can help you with, it gives you 5 options. All you need to do is just click on one option to select what you want to talk about. For example, you could go there to just test the chatbot, or you just heard of Drip, you want to explore more, or there could be many other reasons. So I really liked how it smoothened the experience of chatting, and how it was channelizing me to the right resource by asking me different questions, at the same time not asking me to type too much, just selecting. So then one very interesting thing happened during this conversation. After 2-3 questions, when I said I want to know more about how the chatbot works, etc., they asked me how many employees are there at my company. There were 5-6 options. So once I chose the option where it was least, and then I chose the option where it was most. So least was less than 50. When I selected that, they said nice, and maybe you can go to this link and take a look at the demo. And when I said 1500 plus is the employee strength at my company, they straight away said impressive. They asked me for my email address, and they sent me a calendar invite within the chat itself that you book it. And that too, it was in the Singapore time zone. They could, gauge it that the person talking to them is from Singapore. So they sent the calendar in Singapore time zone and asked me to book. So which is really amazing. Also, if you observe one more thing, conversational marketing is something that they are focusing again and again in everything. So if you look at the bots also now, you don't really feel that it is too much computerized way of talking. They have tried their best to give it the human element when they are like coding the flow of the conversation, which is really amazing. In fact, on their website, there are no lead capture forms. All the lead capturing is done through the bots. Later, I'll show you how. Now, another interesting thing to learn from their marketing or the website copy or the content that they write is, they say, this again is from Dave, the VP marketing. He says, I can spend a lot of time writing the copy, but the best copy would be written only if it's written in the words of their customers. And they give this term, it's called their words. So a copy which is written in word of customers is the best copy one can write. So जैसा हम भी करते हैं, we try to gauge the words what the customers might be using. Sometimes it is guesswork, sometimes we try to gauge from other resources that what words they might be using and what will they find relatable when they are reading. So this conversation marketing, again, how they put it in their users' mouth and how it started coming back, because it is something that they had coined, and the chances were less that their audience would speak. But they managed to do it by, how did they manage to do it? They managed to do it by creating content. Using that word in any conversation. So चाहे जिससे भी बात हो रही है, they would use that word, they would create content around it. Whichever channel was there, they were using the term. It's same as Google. हम जब तक कि सर्च इंजन नहीं आया था और गूगल इतना पॉपुलर नहीं था, हम सर्चिंग ही कहते थे. हम ये नहीं कहते थे कि I'm googling for it or I just googled the term. So that's how this coining thing worked. Now another thing is that, as I told you, that you don't want to. So this is the CEO. He's David Cannell, or Channel is the name. I can tell you the name. He says, why SaaS companies can't win on features? They have to win on the brand. Because as I told you, that it's very easy to create software products these days, or the SaaS products. So you need to find a way to differentiate yourself. So he says branding is the key. If you stand out as a brand, the chances of you being successful are more. One other interesting thing that he said was, you don't want to use your energy in creating the momentum, but you want to use your energy in riding the wave of the momentum that's already created. Like when I said that messaging apps were already getting popular, the paradigm was shifting in the buyer side, the power. So they just rode on that momentum instead of creating it themselves. So yeah, this is something which I just already explained to you. Now, how do you do it? How do you so David Cancel is the name of the CEO, and how do you win on the brand? It's by strategic marketing channels and user feedback. So there was a time when blogs were not so popular, and people used to look, how do I create a blog, or how do I write a blog post, how do I choose a topic, etc. When it was new. And then a time came, blogs were one of the, and they still are, they are a good source of generating content. But there is a shift from channels to channels in the way consumers consume the content. So they did start with blogs, books, podcasts, videos. The CEO says the next thing is videos. The way people consume the content now is mostly videos. So they want to focus now on video marketing strategy. And what has been the content focus in all their channels? It's about educating the customers on how sales and marketing is changing and how you can make the best from it. So they have the founder and the VP, they have published around 4 books. So for example, this book, if you see, how the world's fastest growing companies use chatbots to generate leads, or hyper growth companies, etc. Now, a question might come that when you are publishing a book, what is the purpose? What are the challenges? How does it help? So actually, it's a branding tool. When somebody publishes a book, let's say I say Nitesh has written a book on how to generate leads for a business. That means Nitesh is a subject matter expert on that generating leads. And who will read that book? People who are interested in generating those leads, who can be your probable customers. Now, when you publish a book and you don't have a user's base yet, it can be very, very challenging to have people read your book, or there's a lot of investment money wise also that you need to do. However, if you have a user base, let's say you have a subscriber list of your newsletter, and you have thousands of people reading that, आप एक बार भेजोगे, many people would buy it. But from branding perspective, the purpose is not to sell the book. The purpose is to establish a brand, like showing the world that so and so person is an expert in this, and you need to think of ways on how you can spread a word about it, what kind of things you can do to popularize that book. So the most important thing is mostly how people read books. Maybe they ask their friends, their fancy book which you read lately and it held, or they will go to the bestsellers list. However, some bestseller lists we feel is genuine. However, sometimes we feel that it is sponsored. The person whose book is listed might have paid the listing company to popularize their book, or like it is the sponsored content. So there can be many challenges. I'm not sure at the moment as to how you can win over those challenges. But for Drift, I understood that they already had a very good user base. So they started in 2014, and the first book they published was in 2019. So they already had a decent base. It just uplifted their branding and helped them, go a level up. Now, other channel that they use is a newsletter. So the one thing by David Cannell is one of very famous newsletters. Again, this has helped him build the audience because the content focus is again on founders and CEOs who would want to have this conversational marketing software or the chatbot as a business tool on their website. So, and this person, he has been a 5 times founder. In fact, one of his companies, which was Personable, was bought by HubSpot. It is HubSpot now. So he was a founder there. So he has like 25 plus years of experience of running 5 companies, and being CEO for 2 companies. There's a like whole lot of wisdom that he has to share with people. Now, I was telling you that their website do not have any lead forms. When I went to subscribe for this newsletter, I clicked on sign me up, and Driftbot came. And he asked, do you want to stay up to date with what David Cannell is thinking this week? And it gave me 2 options. Yes, please. And there was one more option. I chose this. And then let's see, it is as if a human is talking to me, that sweet, he will be pumped, you are signing up. And because it already knew my email address, I've already had multiple conversations with this chat guy. It showed me my email address, again, reducing the friction further, and signed me in. Then another channel that they are using is podcast. And it's been many, many years. So one thing that this person, David, says that try to be an early adopter, because if you are too late in that bell curve, what you would most probably be creating would be junk, or below average than what other people have already created. So he says that you should be early in whatever is new as far as a marketing channel is concerned. So this is quite an old podcast. Earlier, the 2 guys used to do it together. Now he does it alone. And interesting thing is, Drift doesn't have only one podcast channel. They have 7 podcast channels. So what they have done here is all their leadership team. So this person heads the operation, this lady heads the marketing, this is the co-founder Elias Torres, and these are the people who are in the leadership team, and everybody has a podcast. And again, if you look at the content focus for these, it's mostly targeting to the business owners, and 3 main functions: operation, sales, and marketing. Mostly sales and marketing only. So let's see what their channels are about. As I told you, David himself, his podcast channel is Seeking Wisdom, and it's for leadership principles for personal and professional growth. Now, CMO, that is the Chief Marketing Officer. This lady, it's the interview style podcast. So what they do is they invite the chief marketing officers of established companies, interview them, and try to bring insights for up and coming marketers. Then they have this operations podcast channel, which again is for marketing and sales operation pro, run by their operations head. Then they have this American, this is relatively new, they just have 4 episodes on this. And it is for the underrepresented leaders. So we all get to see people, talking about big companies, how they achieve success, but learnings can also come from people who are not so much celebrated, but they have done really inspiring work. And that's what that American dream is about. And that's why this podcast channel is dedicated to this. Then product management, growth, etc. So few of these are interview style podcast. This exception is actually just stories from this podcast. So what I also learned about Drift is they are very good at content repurposing. If they have created one content, they are repurposing it to use it in multiple channels. I'll later show you how. So this is the thing I was talking to you about. If everything you do is based on consensus, मतलब आपको पता चल गया कि यार ये particular cheese is going to work, means many people have already done that. So you might be a bit late. तो आप कुछ बहुत extraordinary नहीं कर पाओगे, average जैसा कुछ रहेगा. लेकिन if you join that curve early, there's a chance you would be able to create something remarkable in that domain, is what they say. Now, as I told you, David said that video marketing is something they're doing next. I went to their YouTube channel, and you know how many videos they had published? 730 videos. Now, I was surprised how did they manage to do it. Actually, most of their video content is the podcast repurposing. So whatever podcast these guys are creating, they are also updating it here on YouTube. Of course, they had a few videos other than that, but most of the content was created because of this. And as you would know, YouTube is a marketing channel where it is the game of content. So until and unless you make like 50 plus videos, it's difficult that someone would organically recognize your channel. Until and unless it's a very niche segment that you're targeting to, and you have direct keywords for that. But otherwise, I really liked that they repurpose the content again. And again, if you look at the topics here, let's say how to close deals faster, or CMO conversations, everything here is again focused on, empowering the sales and marketing people or the business people to, be successful in what they are doing. So that's it I had for today's presentation, Nitesh. Now it's time for brainstorming. I will stop.